Good morning, Comrade. You know what this is for. You know what this is for. Let's get started. How are we doing today? A beautiful, a beautiful Thursday. The sun is shining. And everyone is here to enjoy it except for one of the worst war criminals in the United States history. Died last night. I gotta find the picture. They had the best one. They had the rest in piss graphic. The absolute kings of graphic design. What the fuck? Oh, Jesus Christ. Nothing good can ever happen without something bad ever happening right behind it. But yes, Donald Rumsfeld is dead. Rest in piss, you evil bitch. Weapon of mass destruction has died, says The Onion. Donald Rumsfeld, killer of 400,000 people, dies peacefully, is actually a pretty decent way of putting that headline. Really one of the worst motherfuckers to ever exist on this planet. Pop the mortal coil. He's gone. Bye-bye. Ain't there no more. You know what? I'm realizing I put the tweet out and I forgot to put the I forgot to tag the page. I was so excited. But yeah. He's gone. Bye, bitch. There we go. All right, folks. All right. So just as a reminder, Donald Rumsfeld, who the fuck was he? He was he was like simultaneously youngest Secretary of Defense under Nixon, and then like the oldest Secretary of Defense under fucking George W. Bush. He is someone who had his life truly dedicated to just murdering millions of people over many years. True legend of the game, real absolute piece of shit. And I wanted to check out this article that Spencer Ackerman wrote in the Daily Beast, just kind of running down just the highlights, not necessarily like every single blow by blow um, of this motherfucker's like horrible, pathetic existence. Antifa, Donald Rumsfeld is big lie of open a mesh section and a side of Biggie fries. Yeah, fuck that dude. Do not mourn the Secretary of Defense. Mourn his victims. They were nearly too many to tally, but his Pentagon refused to count anyway. Yeah, that's true. I mean, 400,000 might be like a low estimate. There's like 500,000 has been thrown out there. The only thing tragic about the death of Donald Rumsfeld is it didn't occur in an Iraqi prison. True. Yet, that was foreordained, considering how throughout his life inside the precincts of American national security, Rumsfeld escaped the consequences of decisions he made that ensured a violent, frightening end for hundreds of thousands of people. An actuarial table of the deaths for which Donald Rumsfeld was responsible is difficult to assemble. In part, that's a consequence of his policy as defense secretary from 2001 2006 not to compile or release body counts. He killed so many fucking people he didn't even bother to count it. A PR strategy learned after disclosing the tolls eroded support for the Vietnam War. As a final obliteration, we cannot know yet, let alone name all of the dead at this motherfucker's hands. One of the biggest lies by the biggest liar we ever had to live through. He is hell is full of people that will pay Donald Rumsfeld back forever if there's a hell. Yeah, I mean, this is one of those situations where you hope that like some form of hellfire exists because this motherfucker's getting it. But in 2018, Brown University's Cost of War project put together something that serves as the basis of an estimate, according to Nita C. Crawford, Brown's political science department chair. Afghanistan war, to that point, had claimed up to about 147,000 lives, including 38,480 civilians. That's a little bit less than a third. 58,596 Afghan soldiers and police, about as many troops as died in Vietnam, and 2,401 U.S. service members. Rumsfeld was hardly the only person in the Bush administration responsible for the Afghanistan war, but in December of 2001, under attack in Kandahar, where it had retreated from the advance of U.S. and Northern Alliance forces, the Taliban sought to broker a surrender. When acceptable to the U.S., installed Afghan leader Hamid Karzai. At the Pentagon, Donald Rumsfeld refused. I do not think there will be a negotiated end to the situation. That's unacceptable to the United States, he said. So basically, like, oh, the Taliban gives up. They put forward Karzai, and he's like, nah, fuck that. The statement reaped a 20-year war. Good morning, Blanca. Making it fair to say that the subsequent deaths are on his head, even while acknowledging that Rumsfeld was hardly the only architect of the conflict. We're talking about one dead bitch, Donald Rumsfeld today. You missed the dancing part, but you know how that goes. Crawford in 2018 also tallied between 267,792 and 295,170 deaths to the point in Iraq. Actually, so yesterday I was on a phone call with Blanca, and like she was like, I'm reading Twitter while she's talking to me, and I'm like, holy shit, hold on a second, whatever you're talking about, that's cool. But like, also Donald Rumsfeld's dead. Like the news broke while I was on a phone call with that almost certainly a severe undercount. It includes between very conservatively estimated 182,000 and 204,000 civilians, over 41,000 Iraqi soldiers and police, 400,550 U.S. service members. As one of the driving force behind the invasion and the driving force behind the occupation, Rumsfeld is in an elite category of responsibility for these deaths, alongside his protege, Dick Cheney, and the president they served, George W. Bush. Yeah. Rumsfeld's depredations, short of the wars, of course, he oversaw. And yes, responding to 9/11 with a war in Afghanistan was no less a choice than the unprovoked war of aggression in Iraq, were no less severe. His indifference to the suffering of others was hardly unique among American policymakers after 9/11, but his blitheness about it underscored the cruel essence of the enterprise. When passed the sheet of paper that, in bureaucratic language, pitched a torture technique of forcing men held captive at Guantanamo Bay for hours on end, Rumsfeld scribbled a shrug on it. Quote, I stand for 8 to 10 hours a day. So this is like talking about torture. Like torture. Like people being forced to stand at gunpoint for no reason and to do nothing. And this motherfucker is like, oh, I have it hard too. Months earlier, when Rumsfeld was banking on using the U.S. military to invade Iraq, the point of that shit is the cruelty, by the way. The point is to be cruel. There's no actual anything to be gained. It's just to be a fucking piece of shit, motherfucker. Banking on the U.S. using military to invade Iraq, a reporter asked about using U.S. forces to provide security for rebuilding Afghanistan at a moment before the Taliban resistance coalesced. Quote, peacekeeping, he sneered in return, explaining that such tasks were beneath the U.S. forces. No, the U.S. forces are for war. At least he's fucking like honest about that, right? Like at least he's not like trying to be like one of these fucking like Democrats are like, oh, actually we're spreading democracy to wherever, right? I don't know. I mean, Bush said that shit too. But to those forces for whom he was responsible, he was no less indifferent. In Kuwait in 2004, National Guardsmen preparing for deployment confronted Rumsfeld in the hope of enlisting his help with a dire circumstance. They were scrounging through scrap heaps for metal to weld off their insufficiently armored vehicles, so the RPGs that they were sure to encounter wouldn't kill them. Rumsfeld let it be known that the war mattered, not the warfighter. You go to war with the army you've got, not the army you might want or wish to have at a later time. Remember that shit? Like, motherfuckers literally, like, again, like, US soldiers or whatever, but, like, the fact that they're, like, have concerns for their own lives, and he's like, "Nah, fuck you. You know, just blow up and die." Whatever. If Rumfeld was indignant at the question, it reflected the unreality he inhabited and the lies he told as easily as he breathed. He wrapped himself in a superficial understanding of epistemology. There are known knowns. There are things we know. We are also know there are known unknowns. Just some absolute fucking bullshit. Like literally the kind of language that literally means that you can do whatever the fuck we want. Ever the fuck you want. Like, oh, you know that you don't know stuff. So you're justified in doing whatever is possible to combat the things that you don't know. You basically have to basically the known unknowns is like whatever you can imagine. It's like infinity possibilities of what you can sort of like you're justifying fucking like the amount of force for. That a compliant press treated as sagacity. Yeah, the US press was very, very compliant on this shit. He wore a mask of assuredness, a con man's trick, as he said things that bore no resemblance to the truth, such as his 2002 insistence that he possessed, quote, bulletproof evidence of a non-existent alliance between Saddam Hussein and Al-Qaeda. Yeah, that was bullshit. But he just said, oh, yeah, it's bulletproof. If you just go as hard as you can, if you just insist hard enough, you can just, bulldoze whoever the fuck's like, no, actually, I don't believe you. I mean, we've all seen that before. As resistance in Iraq coalesced in summer 2003, Rumsfeld said it couldn't be, quote, anything like a guerrilla war or an organized resistance, even as a reporter quoted U.S. military document explaining why it was. He insisted, quote, I don't do quagmires, when quagmires were all he did. Yeah. If you don't think that the U.S. and Afghanistan wars are quagmires, also the fucking Vietnam War. Like, quagmires are what the U.S. does. Like, that's nothing better. No army in the world is better at a fucking quagmire than the U.S. He had a reason to suspect he would get away with it, and manipulating the press was to Rumsfeld a known. Since reporters loved Rumsfeld before they hated him. U.S. News and World Report put a grinning Rumsfeld on the cover above the headline, Rum Punch, a Secretary of War unlike any other. You got a problem with that? Vanity Fair dispatched Ann Leibovitz to photograph him amongst Bush's war cabinet. People magazine called him the sexiest cabinet member. Ew. Like, that dude, sexy. There's a fucking sexy man right there. Look at that. Oh. You think it represented, you repressed most of the stupid shit he had? Yeah, so much. And there's more. A typical thumbsucker piece. This is one of the new Los Angeles Times' 2003 article. Began with the falsity that, quote, Donald H. Rumsfeld has won 2 wars and won them his way. Incredible. Those wars are still going on beyond his death. The conservative press reflected the subtext, quote, the stud was what National Review called the septuagenarian Rumsfeld, as it depicted him in a come hither pose. Ew. Oh, God. Sorry, folks, but we got some early morning cringe. Oh, God. It's worse than I thought. I mean, I guess it's better than an actual, like, picture. Ew. Sorry for the cringe, folks. Not sorry. The scale of death Rumsfeld and Bush and Cheney and so on are responsible for. Yeah, big yikes. Big yikes. Huge yikes. Ugh. Like a chill just ran up my spine. Not in like a good way. The scale of death Rumsfeld and Bush and Cheney and so on is responsible for does not even make him the bloodiest American of his era. That would be Henry Kissinger, whom is still fucking alive, whom also historian Greg Grandin estimates is responsible between 3 and 4 million dead. Get on that fucking level, bitch. But American elites embrace Kissinger and more recently Bush in a way that they would never embrace the post-Iraqi Rumsfeld. Kissinger, after all, never raised sufficient ire amongst general officers to make his continued tenure impossible, as Rumsfeld experienced in the spring of 2006 generals' revolt that presaged his November 2006 downfall. Yeah, just like like war is fucking sexy or some shit. Fucking slaughter of children and families is fucking hot. Getting rid of Rumsfeld only compounded the tragedy of his works rather than alleviating them. For the generals who came for Rumsfeld did not come for his wars. They came to save the wars from Rumsfeld. He wasn't even good at war. He was just good at killing people. He wasn't good at winning wars. Prolonging their agony and futility with the convenient alibi that they could be won if only a chance to top the Pentagon came. The U.S. troops still in Iraq and President Biden adding a caveat after caveat to his withdrawal. Yes, yeah, Biden's being fucking like, yeah, like asterisk, exclamation. We're just never going to get actually out of these fucking wars ever. Removing Rumsfeld from the wars only permitted them to continue to this day. Rumsfeld never faced any accountability for what he did, only political eclipse, and wrote an inevitable memoir about why he was right and what he did was good. Starting around 2 years after Bush accepted Rumsfeld's resignation, I would walk up Clinton Avenue. This is, I guess, Ackerman talking. Connecticut Avenue each morning to my newsroom near the so-called Hinckley Fountain. Frequently, I would see a wizened figure walking south from his Colorama mansion. What is going on here? Carried a metal cane, but didn't lean on it. He held on in each hand, parallel to the ground, as if he were walking a tightrope. His teeth would be so bared as he drew back his lips in the facsimile of a grin, so familiar with his post 9/11 press conferences. So he like walked around and saw him there, whatever. For the potency and vigor, yeah, the sexy Rumsfeld wanted to project. He moved delicately. An elderly man, he walked, starting with his hips swaying 1 foot forward before the other, sweeping the floor, the other one forward. Slow half moons of motion as he carefully descended the hill north of DuPont Circle. How frail this man was, who can lay claim to the deaths of at least 415,000 people, and how bitter it is that, unlike them, his name will be remembered even in infamy. Yeah, that's true. True. Fuck that bitch. Absolute piece of shit. But he's dead. That's the good news. That's the good news. All right, what do we want to hit next? Oh, here's some good news. Here's some actually good news, or some exciting news. So pull up the article. In New Orleans, just this past week, we have had a city workers 1-day strike. This is from the Lens, which is sort of like a kind of an alt publication. It's not the it's like an alternative to the Advocate, which is the sort of main publication through most of the state of Louisiana. Absolute dog shit paper. But here we have the Lens talking about city workers on strike, or at least they were for 1 day in New Orleans. So let's take a look. A group of 10 employees from the New Orleans Department of Public Works refused to report to work Monday and told the Lens they're initiating a strike for better wages and safer working conditions, including air conditioning in their workplace. The move comes a week after the city council advanced a proposal to mandate a $15 minimum wage for city contractors, but not for direct city employees. That sucks. The fact that, like, you essentially it incentivizes contractors, really. If you can't give like directly city workers $15, like, that kills a lot of that energy. But it's better than not having it, I suppose. One of the workers, Joseph Green, said he's been in the job for 5 years and currently makes $11.60 per hour. Jesus Christ. Other employees reported similar hourly wages, while some only knew the weekly take-home check they received from the city. I'm working for the city and bringing home $352 check for 1 week, said Eric Gardner. Come on now. Gardner and other workers said that their pay isn't commensurate with what workers are getting in the private sector for similar work. Another employee, Otis Addison, said he recently got a job application accepted with Amazon, starting with a starting pay of around $16 an hour. He said he would likely leave his job with the city if wages didn't go up. Yeah. This morning, a group of Department of Public Works maintenance employees opted to take a sick day in order to speak with infrastructure leaders about the challenges they are facing, such as insufficient equipment and schedule changes with earlier start times due to warmer temperature in the summer months, said a statement from Latoya Cantrell's office. We will continue this open dialogue until there is a resolution. In the meantime, these employees were invited to return to work immediately. They were invited to return to work immediately, or are you just saying, like, get your ass back to work? You're invited to return to work immediately. Wow. So this is like more like a sick out than a strike, I would call it. Strike was in part triggered by the city council's vote last week to advance an ordinance that would raise the minimum wage for city contractors to $15 an hour. That ordinance, which is expected to go to a final vote on Thursday, would not cover direct city employees who make as little as $11.21 an hour, the city told Times-Picayune, New Orleans Advocate. Even Burger King starts people off at 12 around here. Yeah, no, it's same here. Like, people are paying like slightly more now. Like, except not the city of New Orleans. What the fuck? Also, although several council members supported a $15 hour wage for the district city employees, as well as the council didn't have the direct authority to make that happen, pay changes for most city workers need to be approved by the city's Civil Service Commission, an independent board that approves city personnel policies and pay plans. Sounds like some unnecessary breaks. Sounds like the city council came up with their own fucking parliamentarian to stop workers from getting $15 an hour. That's what that looks like to me. Workers told the Lens at the top of the on top of the wage issues, they also had issues with their work vehicles, including lack of air conditioning. These people are driving around in 90-degree heat, 50% humidity with no AC for like $11 an hour. Jesus Christ. It's a safety issue, Gardner said. It's so hot out here. We're dealing with the asphalt that will burn your skin off. We got to get in the hot truck, get in the hot sun, and work and get back in the hot truck. Yeah. Employees reported other issues with vehicles as well. The seat belts don't work. The windows don't roll down. The brake lights don't work. Well, maybe we can get New Orleans DSA to help with the brake light part at least. Twanette Johnson, another employee, said that they also needed protective glasses for working with asphalt and masks for dealing with fumes while cleaning out the city's drainage system. So it's not like these people, like, again, desk workers and shit like that deserve $15 an hour too, but these people are working outside in the sun on drainage and getting paid $11 an hour. Like, that's hard fucking work. Workers told the Lens that they called out of work on Monday and would be using paid leave days to sustain the strike. It's unclear how long it will last, but several of the workers described the precarious financial situations and the desire to get back to work quickly. We still need to work, Green said. 3 of the striking employees met with Ramsey Green, the city's chief administrative officer for infrastructure, on Monday morning. Johnson said that Green is seemingly generally amenable to their safety concerns and wage demands, but that they weren't ready to return to work just yet. They asked us to go back to work on today. We told them no. So there you go. Step Up Louisiana was involved. Johnson was part of a similar short-lived Department of Public Works strike in 2018 to demand higher wages. She said that the experience is making her hesitant to return to work so quickly. Yeah, we're going to talk about going back tomorrow, but that's because they told us the last time that they were going to get us pay raises, and then nothing happened. So we're taking it one day at a time. Johnson said she briefly spoke to LaToya Cantrell on Monday. I was expecting another call from her later today. The Cantrell administration has continually demonstrated its commitment to this. Okay, I'm not reading that. That's Cantrell's statement, and I don't believe it. The public works employees were joined on Monday by Ben Zucker, director of Step Up Louisiana, as well as a representative from the New Orleans City Workers Organizing Committee, Lily McNee, a city worker with the Department of Safety and Permits. Quote, "We support their demands for better wages and humane working conditions," McNee said. "No one should be treated like this, especially employees of the city of New Orleans." Let's look at actually a statement put out by the New Orleans City Workers Organizing Committee with the permission of the workers. It's a short statement on this as well. Obviously, solidarity with these workers. They need to get um, air conditioning. They need to get paid better. They need better working conditions. They need safety. Fucking seatbelts don't work in the cars. Like, I can imagine somebody getting like a ticket or something like that for like having a broken seatbelt in a fucking car for the city. Here's a statement from the New Orleans City Workers Organizing Committee. I know DSA New Orleans is associated with that as well. Department of Public Workers statement on the one-day strike. We, the workers of the New Orleans Department of Public Works, went on a one-day strike on Monday, the 28th of June, because we do not feel valued for the crucial work that we do to maintain our city streets. We went on strike on Monday because we are fed up with not being provided the necessary equipment and PPE to make our jobs safe. Our trucks lack air conditioning, and we lack boots that protect our feet from the water in the catch basins, and many of us are paid below $15 an hour. We want our overtime that has been stolen from us from when we worked extra hours during the Hard Rock collapse and Hurricane Zeta. We know that no one can raise their expectation in life when they are not treated with dignity and appreciation. We want at least $15 an hour. We took a stand and walked off the job because we are done accepting the low wages, the lack of appreciation, and the unrealistic expectations put on us by this department and city government. We invite all city workers and our allies to support our dignity and value, to stand up and join us. There you go. There you go. Yeah, props to people that can say. I mean, seriously, that's fucking hot. Yeah, I love the workers too. Worked in landscaping for a week, and that's all you could take, and you were 18. Yeah, no, I mean, you're in Texas. I mean, that's fucking hot over there too, and it's not always as, it's brutal. All right. Now there's, excuse me. Now, you know, considering that we just did a good story, a positive story of workers doing the thing where they stand up for themselves, and we have this fucking bullshit to deal with the Louisiana legislature.
Latest from the state capitol, Senate President Page Cortez says senators are likely to support the effort to try and overturn Governor Edwards' bill rejections. The move would set off a historic override session next month. This after the governor denied a bill banning transgender athletes from taking part in school sports. House Republicans also support the effort for an override session. It would be a first for Louisiana under the modern Constitution, but it's unclear if lawmakers will have the 2/3 votes needed to override the governor's vetoes.
All right. So, y'all heard that? The governor, John Bel Edwards, who is like he's a very conservative Democrat. Let's put it like that. He's like one of these ones that are anti-abortion. Let's put it that way. He's like a very pro-business Democrat, pro-oil and gas, pro tourism industries, all this fucking shit. Loves the bosses. And he tries to do a good thing. The state of Louisiana, or the legislature of Louisiana, passed one of those horrible anti-transgender bills that would essentially target children, specifically like playing sports and things like that. And he vetoed it. He tried to do a good thing. And now the Louisiana legislature has decided that they are going to call a unprecedented special session just to override that one veto. Let's take a look. Governor John Bel Edwards' rejection of legislation banning transgender athletes from participation on school sports teams is spurring talk that Republican lawmakers may try to hold Louisiana's first veto session under the decades-old Constitution. Motherfucker, Republican House Speaker Clay Scheck-Snyder announced Tuesday night that he wants such a mid-July session, given the possibility of historic gathering some momentum. But GOP Senate President Page Cortez hasn't made a public position, which could put the chances in doubt. Maybe we should start putting pressure on that person to say, no, motherfucker, you're not doing that. It's not happening. It only takes a majority of written vote of lawmakers in either the state House or the Senate to scrap a veto session in Louisiana. Plus, it's unclear if lawmakers could hold the bipartisan coalition of votes together that would be needed to overturn the Democratic governor's spurning of the transgender sports ban bill. I mean, like, calling it a transgender sports ban bill, like, really takes the focus off of the fact that it's just excluding children from playing in sports just based off of like their ascribed gender. And like it's a problem that doesn't fucking exist. This is part of like a national like campaign to just vilify like trans people and trans children and honestly, yeah, just got to do evil. And the whole point of this isn't even necessarily that. It's to split people on like these social issues, which are like obviously very important to the individuals and groups, people that are affected, and we need to show solidarity with those people. But also the point is to divide, like to essentially get the people that are not, working people that are not like as connected to those people or people that wouldn't know, trans people um, and to sort of like turn them against just like essentially turn them against the entire like other side. It's Democrat versus Republican fucking food fight shit. Edwards announced Tuesday that he struck down Franklinton Republican Beth Mizell. Fuck Beth Mizell, by the way. Her bill prohibiting transgender athletes from competing on school sports teams of their identified gender, a measure that has been passed in several conservative states. Quote, discrimination is not a Louisiana value, and this bill was a solution in search of a problem that simply does not exist in Louisiana. I cannot believe I'm saying that, but this is like, that's like pretty base, right? That's actually John Bell Edwards saying a very good thing. Mizell and Bill supporters said that they were trying to protect female athletes from unfair competition. That's always the thing. I've never understood this line, by the way. Good morning, Dan. I've never understood this line because like the assumed like problem that these kinds of bills are like purporting to address is that like trans people are just dominating every single sport, and that's just not the case. Like if that was the case, I would still not have a problem with it, but like at least you would have a purported problem to deal with. Like you don't have trans like athletes dominating every fucking sport right now. That's crazy. Yeah, it's a non-problem. Hours after the governor's veto announcement, Schexnayder released a statement saying he was, quote, in favor of overriding the governor's veto of the Fairness in Women's Sports Act. Other Republicans are pushing for a veto session because Edwards is expected to reject a bill that would allow people 21 and older to carry concealed handgun without a permit. I feel less strongly about that one. I mean, I'd feel a lot better about, people not walking around with guns, concealed privately, but like, I don't feel quite as strongly as I do about this one. In fact, I think actually probably it might be strategic to like just let that one slide. The firearms one, I know, just so that you don't to essentially protect this bill. The state Republican Party sent an email Wednesday asking people to call their House and Senate members to urge them to support a veto session. Also, at the very same time, I have seen this. Where is it? I had a petition. Let me pull it up. A petition telling legislators to not do that. To not fucking let me pull it up. I thought I had it up. God, I'm doing this streaming thing and I'm not doing a great job of it, folks. In a world of problems, conservatives rally around a non-problem. Yeah. Here you go. There you go. I'm dropping this link, especially if you live in Louisiana. Fill this out. Check in chat. We, the undersigned members of the okay, well, this is actually Democratic State Central Committee people, but regardless, we're sending letters to people to not to essentially to prevent that session, no to a special session. The state Republican Party sent an email Wednesday asking people to call their House and Senate members. Yeah, we said that already. The Senate leaders haven't said where they stand on the idea. Cortez didn't respond Wednesday to a call from the AP about the possibility of a veto session. But yeah, that's basically what it is. Oh, Meisel's, by the way, just so that to remind people how bad the situation is in Louisiana and how bad Louisiana Democrats are. While Beth Meisel's transgender ban passed with bipartisan veto-proof margins in both chambers, it's unclear. That's just what I wanted to highlight. It passed with Democratic support, because many Louisiana Democrats are also fucking terrible. Also fucking terrible. Never forget that. Never forget it. All right. We need a cleanser after that one. Okay. All right. I got something for you. There you go. There's flicking Sam just palling around. Best buddies. Best pals. Love them boys. Hello to the cats. All right. And I needed to give you that palate cleanser because there's more bad news, folks. I hate to be like this. I wish there was more good news. I'm not going to get into Bill Cosby. I don't want to talk about Bill Cosby. I don't like Bill Cosby. We're going to do Free Britney. We're going to do Free Britney. Not Bill Cosby. Both stories are bad, but regardless. Excuse me. Need a cleanse, folks. Need a cleanse. So, as many people have seen, Britney Spears, like, and again, people like, I understand that this is like a rich person, etc. Like, I understand that like this is not the most pressing problems of the working class or whatever. So, like, I get that. Spare me those. Good morning, Jenny. Spare me those like critiques or whatever. I think this is an important issue for a couple of reasons. But largely because it hits me in a like nostalgia spot. And this is my show. Brittany is a worker, like literally. You're so sad about this too, Blanca. You want to hop on and talk about this? You can if you want to. I'll send you the link. Anyway, judge denies Britney Spears' request to remove her father from conservatorship again. So what does that mean? Okay, all right. I'm gonna send it to you. I'm gonna send you a DM on Facebook. All right, Blanca's going to be coming in. She's going to be joining us to talk about Britney Spears, because this is something that is very important to her. I've been keeping an eye on this, like from a distance, but like it's not something that I have been able to sort of like keep focused in on like closely. But I'm going to start reading the article, and when Blanca gets here, we'll bring her in. So, judge has shot down Britney Spears' request to have her father removed from her conservatorship for now. So, what does that mean? Yeah. So, this is kind of the wild stuff about all this, right? Like she's basically been in the position for the past like over a decade where she's not been in control of her own fucking life. She's essentially been like had her own power of attorney taken away from her. So new court documents that were filed by Los Angeles Superior Court on Wednesday show that the judge has denied a months-old request by Spears' attorney, Samuel Ingram III, to remove her father, Jamie Spears, from her sole conservator. That means basically he controls like what she like where her finances go. He basically gets all that shit. These documents are not in direct response to last week's hearing, where Spears gave explosive testimony. Here's Blanca. Hey, Blanca.
Hi.
So, yeah, can you sort of like bring me up to speed on this a little bit?
Oh my gosh. So we all know that there's the Free Britney movement, and there was a guy like a few years ago, when she was going through kind of her meltdown, he had a meltdown and was like, "Leave Britney alone."
Chris
And
Cross.
now we are all that guy. But this just happened yesterday. I think I was like I don't know what I was doing, but it popped up on my phone that the judge had denied it, which doesn't make any sense because there's an entire movement behind her. There were people outside of the courthouse. You can follow the hashtag on any social media, and it's in every language. Like, there's so many people that are. It just means I think it just means a lot. We're in this time where women are being controlled, trying to be controlled even more. And, Brittany's been like this. I grew up, she's older than me, but like I grew up watching like her videos and stuff. She's really great. And I don't know, how can I say this? It just means like, what can we, if this can happen to her, what can happen to us? And like,
that's the thing, right?
Things. Yeah.
That's the thing. And like also at the same time, like it is extremely like strange to me that like Britney Spears, who has been like, it's not like she hasn't been working and touring and putting out albums since her like purported meltdown. And I remember when all that shit happened. Like she had a really tough one for a couple of years where she like shaved her head and
Who doesn't?
married,
Who doesn't?
and like annulled like immediately, all this other kind of stuff, whatever. But like, I'm not like trying to use that as like a reason that this is legitimate. To be 100% clear, she had a rough time. I mean, yes, that's true. But like that has been used essentially to since that time, she has put out multiple albums. She has been running essentially an entire like tour. Like she's definitely proved that she's like competent enough to manage her own self and her own life. But like the fact that judges or whatever are deciding that this is like necessary, this is necessary things to do to sort of like handle Britney or whatever, or is in her best interest in some way, is kind of wild. And the fact that her dad is like pursuing this is so fucked up. Like it's so fucked up, right?
Take him and Henry Kissinger at the same time. Yes.
Yes.
Both of them together.
Yeah, just like, bye, bitches.
Really, what a great time if that happened. 2 in 1.
Boom.
But yeah, it's really sad, I think. It's she didn't just work, she had like a residency in Vegas too, I think, at some point. Like she was working all the time, and it has to be wild. Like really has to be crazy. And I'm really happy I guess I'm really happy with the growth in our society. It doesn't seem like a lot, but remember when like all of the tabloids were like, "Oh my God, Britney Spears shaved her head. What is this? What's happening?"
A girl with short hair? Ew.
Yeah, ¿qué pasa? This isn't supposed to be a thing. I think at least the younger generation has been able to look back on some of those sentiments and like realize how really shitty they were and how bad it was, how all of us are going through. We've all gone through meltdowns now, I'm sure. And
of course. That's part of being alive, right?
Yeah. Yeah, in Empire especially, for sure.
Yeah, no shit. No shit.
I hope that she fights it. I hope she keeps fighting it. I hope that like people that we continue to support her. Um, you know, she's totally rich and whatever, and we're not. But like, still, I hope that she gets free.
Yeah. You got anything you want to say about Donald Rumsfeld's bitch ass being dead?
Oh my gosh, we were on the phone yesterday, and you were like, "I just made
You were
this
talking
funny
about something
tweet."
important, and like you were like very very like impassioned by it, and like I don't know, I was scrolling Twitter while you were talking about it, and I just saw like Donald Rumsfeld dead, and it's like, I'm sorry, Blanca, I have to interrupt you, but Donald Rumsfeld's dead right now.
I think we were talking about Delta variant. I was like, I think it's gonna get us all. And you're like, hold on.
1 second, okay? I'll let you finish.
I'm glad. I wonder how like. Okay, I know that Donald Rumsfeld's like really terrible, but we're all waiting for Henry Kissinger. Like we're all products of the really shitty stuff
Hey,
Henry
Blanca, what the
Kissinger
fuck?
did. So what is happening? Why is this ghoul still here?
It's almost like it's almost like it's a joke. Like it's just gonna go on for so fucking long, right? Like, oh my god.
Oh, but I'm glad he's gone. I cringed. I didn't know that he was called the sexiest man at one point. On what
Looks like a
planet?
lizard, right? He looks like a fucking like. You know what he reminds me of? You remember the Mario Brothers movie from the 90s? And Dennis Hopper was like King Koopa from the end of it, from the villain.
No, I don't know this, but
Okay,
people do. I'm
but
sure.
he looks like that. Let me pull up a picture. There you go. Here you go.
Okay.
Hold on, let me pull it up in a. Oh, come on.
Well, I hope people don't remember him as the sexiest man alive or whatever for a
Like,
short
ridiculous.
period. Gross. What was wrong with the? Oh, yes.
That
What
seems
was
not right.
what was wrong with the previous generation, with the older generations, if they thought this weirdo was attractive?
And that was the National Review, like the word, like the dumbest fucking like right wing idiot magazine. Like I don't know. Man. It's just like one of these dumb bullshit things. I think that was like that had to have been like intentional cringe, right? Like, come on, you fucking with this, right?
It's ew, just weird.
Exactly.
Just bizarre. So if we know Donald Rumsfeld was like a big war hog, hawk. Is it war hog or war hawk? It's both.
Hawk. I think it's Hawk, but I mean like Hog works too.
Okay, so what is gonna happen whenever like I don't know, Bush or like Obama pass away? Will people be like, hot dog, this man killed millions of people around the world?
Obama is gonna get. Okay. Obama is gonna get like the Reagan treatment. You know that's gonna happen. Like remember when he fucking died and like basically like America shut down and a bunch of like all the conservatives and a lot of Democrats were just like, can you remember this great president that's like, and like one of the worst motherfuckers ever, right? Obviously, like multiple wars including Grenada, fucking Iran Contra, fucking also one of the first things he did was break up the Patco strike, air traffic controllers. One of the like among other things, always saber rattling with the fucking nuclear weapons, et cetera, et cetera. You can just go down the list, you know, trickle down economics, all this fucking bullshit. But like when he died, like it was basically like, oh, like an angel on earth has been taken from us, you know?
Yes. Ugh.
And Obama's gonna get that probably times 10. I mean, it's just it's gonna be what happened. George Bush is probably gonna get like a similar treatment, but like Obama's gonna get the times 10. He's gonna get like the mega like super version from the libs.
Gross.
Yeah.
Ugh. Well, anyway, take Henry Kissinger next. Take Bernie's dad. Take a lot of these
Yeah, somebody in chat said Dick Cheney. Yeah, get him
these
too.
war lovers. Dick Cheney is still alive.
How is this possible? He's like half robot now. He's
I know.
literally Darth Vader at this point. Teen Vogue actually called Rumsfeld a war criminal in their headline. Let's see.
Teen Vogue did, yes, and torture defender.
Nice.
Yeah.
Who wrote it?
Really, Comrade? Teen Vogue has surprised everybody in the last 5 years.
I know, right? What the fuck, Vogue? Like, and like, I don't know. Like, they're definitely hiring good writers, but like, that doesn't mean like Condé Nast is like a good good publication outfit or whatever. But yeah, I don't know. It's complicated. Yeah. Donald Rumsfeld, former defense secretary and accused war criminal, dead at 88. Puh, spit on that. The best joke for Donald Rumsfeld's death. My favorite one though was new transgender bathroom just opened, just dropped. That's the best one. Credit Camilo. We love that boy.
Well, how's the weather there today?
It's fine. It's probably gonna rain again for like the 15th straight day.
It's raining here too.
It's like the opposite. It's like we traded weather with the Pacific Northwest. You know what I mean? Like we just swapped, and they get like the fucking hell heat, and we get like all of the constant, never-ending rain. And unfortunately, like seriously, they're having like, we covered this yesterday on the show. Like farm workers out there are dying. Like people, like there was like in Portland, there was like 100 or something, 150 or something, people that had to be like hospitalized because of the heat. Like they're not prepared for that shit. They don't have air conditions everywhere and things like that we have here.
Yeah, that's sad.
Mm-hmm.
We're gonna win though.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna jump off here. This was fun.
Okay. Yeah. Let me know when you want to come hop on. You're always welcome to. But
yeah, for
I'm
sure.
gonna wrap it up here too anyway. But thanks for coming on, Blanca.
Yeah, you're welcome. Thanks, Jeff.
Sure.
See you soon. Bye.
Bye. And yeah, that was Blanca. She is a friend. She is also member of the National Committee of the Democratic Socialist America. And yeah, she's great. We love Blanca. You can support Good Morning Comrade by going to patreon.com/Good Morning Comrade. You can be like Ty Jitty, Michael H, Dan O, Jonathan H, Timothy C, Dragon Slayer 19, Andy L, Gary W, Rachel K, Kenneth F, Adam R, Trey M, Watermelon Pickle, and Penelope D. Thank you all so much for watching the show today. And have a good one. All right, Twitch folks, hang on for the raid. Everybody else, bye-bye.